question at this time.
Dr. West and Dr. Cohn, I just want to say, first of all, thank you both for your work through these years. It's been a great inspiration to me as I've come into my own study of theology. When I was writing my dissertation, a line from the 20th anniversary edition of Black Theology of Liberation was constantly in my mind, and Dr. Cohn, it was the line that said that even 20 years later, these questions are still not being talked about. And for me, that ideological unearthing is an important part of what needs to be done. And I just, first of all, want to say thank you for that, because it's been an inspiration to me as I've studied theology and continue to teach theology. I've been trained in white seminaries. I was privileged to teach for several years in a small black college in Nashville, Tennessee, American Baptist College. In both of those contexts, I find that students have a resistance to the tradition and learning the tradition, and there is this push to abandon the tradition and just go to the immediate experience. What I find so helpful about Black Theology of Liberation as a teaching tool is your willingness to go through the tradition and unearth the gospel in the tradition, even though it had been buried again and again. And my question to you, sir, is that now, many years since writing that, do you still find value in going into the tradition? Can I still say to my students there is value there, or would you advocate a different way of teaching the gospel?
Now, I think we can learn from a lot of traditions. And the main Western theological tradition is an indispensable source for me, and I think for anybody living in the Western world that's Christian. That's why I teach a course right now on nine-hole Hebrews. I didn't think that tradition was important. I'm critical of it, but I think it's indispensable for anyone that wants to dialogue in theology across the globe today, because that's the tradition that brought us to the point where we are. How are you going to change something and you don't understand it? It is indispensable. I always want to know who my enemies are. I want to know how they think. I want to know what they leave out and why they leave it out. I want to know why I'm not present there. So for me to have written a dissertation on Karl Barth, read all of those dogmatics, my God, from Zion, if you make it through there, you are ready to fight anybody. I'm glad. God, I said Jesus, Tennis Son, off a boot on, Harnack, Frymacher, Calvin, Luther, all of them make sense. And that's why I think I have an advantage in a debate with any white theologian, because I know them better than they know me. See, I got the advantage there. See, I can dialogue on that turf. I remember to Union Theological Seminary. And I was so deeply grateful for that, but I didn't care whether he was pleased or not. I didn't care.